Oh, To everyone. Oh my word. Happy New Year to you guys. I love this guy's song. The guy really got my type of voice, no?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Oye tijere ndi inenwe kwanguli. Inenwe kwanguli. Inajapwa chukuma. Chukunyere to Obotoyo kidio. Obotoyo kidio. Obokisi unanya. Let this new year bring us everlasting joy.
Amen.
If I could you felicie. Makeko bona itijera kaga pulili ngozi. Chukwede oya. Nafano wakabura ni ngozi. If I'm a kebela inafo. Kebenji dandi kebela inafo. If I'm a kebela inafo. In Jesus' name, everything shall be done. In this year, everything shall be done. Whatsoever you lack in 2022, in this year, all of them shall be done. In a tongue, oh, in this year, everything shall be done.
Happy New Year to you guys. I love this.
Happy New Year.
Oye tijere ndi inenwe kwanguli. Inenwe kwanguli. Inajapwa chukuma. Chukunyere to Obotoyo kidio. Obotoyo kidio. Obokisi unanya. Let this new year bring us everlasting joy.
Amen.
If I could you felicie. Makeko bona itijera kaga pulili ngozi. Chukwede oya. Nafano wakabura ni ngozi. In this year, everything shall be double. Whatsoever you lack in 2022, in this year, all of them shall be double. In a tongue, oh, in this year, everything shall be double. Yeah, good man to one word, Nano, I got the ready in the
DOS. Oh guys, I so much love this song. Please share the video, share the video, share the video, and listen more again before I will start.
happy,
Happy New Year.
happy, happy,
Happy New Year.
happy, happy. Oye tinyere ndị na-enwekwa aṅụrị, ị na-enwekwa aṅụrị, ị na-ajakwa Chukwu mma. Chukwu nyere gị ọbụtụ ọrụ gị dị o, ọbụtụ ọrụ gị dị o, ọ bụ ka isi ịhụnanya. May this new year bring us embarrassing joy. Ife akụnye ife elisi. Maka ebe ọ bụ na itinyere aka ga-abụrịrị ngọzi. Chukwu edewo ya n'afọ nwa ga-abụrụ anyị ngọzi. Ife ọma ga-emere anyị n'afọ, ebe ndị na-adị ga-emere anyị n'afọ. Ife ọma ga-emere anyị n'afọ. In Jesus' name, everything shall be double. In this year, everything shall be double. Whatsoever you lack in 2022, in this year, all of them shall be double. In a tongue, oh, in this year, everything shall be double. Yeah, good man to one word,
Oh my God, this guy can sing. Oh, please share this video for us. Oh my goodness. Nick crying this video. The guy, he made my day. Oh, he made my day. This guy is very talented, you know. Oh, yeah. Share the video. There's nothing we can do. Not to share. Nick, share the video.
Amaizimo iwe si n'isi kema kwụsịgokwa ịgwara m je nwere ego ndị na-abụrụ gị akụkọ iwe si n'isi kema kwụsịgokwa ịgwara m n'anya ya nide akwara gị bụfa gbara ga isi n'ịbịara maka mee ka mmetụ ngwe ya n'uju Odilo nyehiriki Ine gani Jesus Ine gani Yashua Ine gani Laban Onya Suzatu Roma Onye Dimma Onye Marama Onye Nerani Jesus Onye Dimma Chineke Onye Dimma Onye Dimma Jesus Jesus.
Niye kaga kaka o. I'm telling you guys. Ukukubioko. Niye nka oga the wonderful because the joy itself is on. In fact, the joy is now na this new year. I never see the joy before. If you never get any joy for this new year, go and seek one. There's joy in this new year.
Amadiki bossa woke bere Mebo kani yo nambido Mebo kani yo nanjudo Omere anoke yo Onyare kubeda Amadiki bodine Tuku kata fwede wo Tuku nyere nutalu Ode rizito Omere anoke yo Omere tuku ibono Nadi oyo yo 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 Ganya mire tu ganya Yezi peti chiteki Obe tuku kakwere nuki Imama sisi data matu chiteki Sakwa kadivi bone besi Everybody ade yasonono Obe tuku mwere bani nete Anyi kusira kolu Ufadu kusira afya Ndoro ibo kusira ru Waki hunanya kaiwere nebi nona dikanu Waka noje nwere ki nwere dike O nwere mmadụ Maka anyị bibo roge n'anya Anyị bibo anyị rọfuru gị Chukwu kelu nwa daalụ Onye ọrụ ebube imela o Ọ na-eme ihe na-adịghị ekwu omume Chukwu Biafra na-eme o Na-eme o na-eme Iburu nwa afọ Igbo sara ya ihe Chukwu ka Biafra eziokwu
Ashikanyelu nuye gbedu unuge kwekwano kanyelu nuye gbedu na aju kanyelu nuye gbedu na aju Chominian nuye gbedu na aju. Share the video for us and God Almighty God will bless all of you. And right now I'm going into the main business, but I'm not gonna be long. Oh no, man, I like my video this time. I don't really know why. I really need to change this year. You see this? I really need to change this pattern. I do video too late. People don't sleep finish. I will come to do video. I don't know. Okay. If you're in Europe, it doesn't matter. In the Europe, Ghana went there now because since it's late here. And it's gonna be early that side. On a water go. Yeah, I get where I'm So guys, this is our leader's wife today. She's very, very angry. Yes, our leader's wife is very, very angry today. She's angry. I never see her being angry this way. I just feel for her anyway. So guys, I'm gonna play the speech, the Christmas or the New Year speech of our leader. How should I put it? Is it a speech or I don't know, New Year greetings or New Year what? Yeah, so this is our leader's wife, Her Excellency Lolo Uchechi Okukano. She made a speech today And I'm gonna play this video from the beginning to the end before I will not call it a day, because I'm just here to play her voice.
HOD has spoken very well today. It is also left for you to digest and understand his message. And if you do not understand the fused sentences, please ask your brother, ask your sister, a lawyer friend, a doctor friend, whoever is versed in understanding, to break these messages down for you. I am here today to bring you the message of our leader, to reiterate the importance of his teachings, which points at the reasoning pattern of our people. I will not waste our time. Nihina ogologo akoko ekwu okwu too much on ebuta nchefu. Equal too much. It brings you a situation where the brain gets saturated and information gathered becomes useless. So it is our responsibility in 2023 to start to stimulate the part of the brain which incorporates the combination of our level of consciousness and reasoning, called the frontal lobe. The frontal lobe, it is one of the 4 lobes in the brain. And with different parts, and each part with a ihe. So the burden of our people, I have come to say, is when Onyenduanye continues to say the black man reasons in the very, very low frequency. He keeps pointing at the reasoning capacity of a black man. That is the part of the brain. It is the frontal lobe. It enhances your understanding and the level of your reasoning. The frontal lobe, amongst other parts of the brain, is the area which enables the cognitive process to take place. That is where your understanding comes from. That is where the analysis and critical thinking and that ability for you to reason and plan, that is where it takes place, the frontal lobe. Over the few centuries, there has been an apparent show of an acceptance of subjugated reasoning. In Africa, every Francophone and Anglophone colony have specific differences which either portrays the French or the British culture, which makes them respond and conform to the benefits of their colonial masters. Let us take Igbo landing,
wife, you go school. Hey!
The Igbo landing event. I believe our people, they understand history, so I try as much as I can not to keep talking about the histories, but rather take it to expatiate or make clarifications of my meanings. So the Igbo landing event was a prime example of those who refused to conform to an unfamiliar way of reasoning, which was being imposed on them. That right there was a great difference in attitude between those who were originally enslaved and generations that have followed, who gradually allowed their thinking to be subjugated. So to enact a change, which is what today is about, we come into 2023. What I got a church 31st of December and then when I was in secondary school, I would get a piece of paper. I would write all my resolutions. The next year I will be this person. I will do this. I will do that. I always had one resolution all the time, how to change to talk to somebody, because I am known to be too, I'm front. I will tell it to you as it is. So, and our people, we misconstrue being told the truth and being insolent. They mix it up together. Because you're older than me doesn't mean I can't tell you what you're doing wrong. And that is why our people are where they are today. So as you come into 2023, what have you got on your slate? What is the new situation you want to find yourself in? What is the new clothing you want to put on? What do you intend to leave behind as 2022 has come and gone? Do you want to remain in the same abject poverty of the mind? We have allowed the poverty of the mind to determine how we behave, to determine how we interact with our brothers and our sisters. So to enact the change, what I come here with today is that frontal lobe. We need to train it. It has to be trained. It has to be exercised and stimulated with simulations. What do I mean by that? Create and play scenarios. Like I say, find your brother who is more versed in understanding and let them break down this for you. You have to understand, because understanding is what leads you from a lower place to a higher place. Anyone church, you Bible say you get understanding. So in getting understanding, or rather get knowledge, get wisdom. In everything you get in this life, make money, do everything, but in all, get understanding. So you have to get someone who would explain further if you do not understand what I'm trying to say today. Because if we change the way we think and reason, then our situation will change. So create and play scenarios. What I mean by that, in order, if I make a movie, you create different movie. Don't just think in that line. Do something they call what if analysis. So do a what if analysis and say, banana not there, for somebody else to say. I'm just trying to break it down so everybody would understand where I'm coming from. So don't just see a picture and that is a picture. You have to come from a diverse perspective in order to arrive to what you're looking at. In 2023, cleanse yourselves from the clutches of a trapped frontal lobe, that part of the brain that helps you to reason, that processes your cognitive pattern. Cleanse yourself from that clutches of the trapped frontal lobe, as people are more comfortable when you are in such position. One of the dangers of an untrained frontal lobe is the perception of issues from emotional standpoint and getting on the bandwagon of mantras which are wrongfully comprehended, which subsequently exhumes foolishness and has brought us into a quagmire of a non-collective approach and an ununified stance. A very good example, we keep faffing about and making noise. Everybody's jumping. But you have Eze. A lot of our people take that mantra to simply mean a lack of leadership amongst our people. However, what it simply means is that the Igbo person does not conform to sentiments or emotions, but rather are able to question any narrative which portrays us as Republicans. We keep saying we are Republicans. Elohim, you don't even have no clue what it is. That frontal lobe is dormant. It's not active.
No problem.
The incorrect interpretation of Iwe is the reason we cannot work together as a community or group to achieve a desired purpose, because there is always a group within a group within another group. And that is the reason any criminally minded person can easily penetrate any evil group and cause confusion to fester by introducing false narratives which our people easily conform to. You can also, when you look, you can also spot the hypocrisy of the ill-comprehended mantra. You said in Igbo Wednesday, you can't tell me what to do. We are Republican in nature. But you stick a leader.
Autopiloters. That's their
And
statement.
then when you get the leader,
Autopilot.
your next plot is how to form another line of leadership. Yes, Igbo Wednesday. Your next plot is to form another line of leadership within and create your own group, which when created, you cannot have your own objectives. You don't have yours.
My name is Oluchi.
You want to achieve, you have no objective you want to achieve, you can't create any, but you spend your time maligning the group you just broke out from because you have a hunger for power and control. Which, of course, eventually, that is as certain as the sun rises in the east, you will come down. Eventually, you will fall because you started off on the wrong premise. Look around you. Let's use our frontal lobe. Activate it, stimulate it. Those parts of the world with a workable hierarchical structure. Dubai, for example, which is very close by. People, when I mean by close by, people go there often. They have a better sense of direction than our people. Howbeit, we have a better leverage of individual resources, which, if combined, will dwarf Dubai in every area. But what do we do? What do we do instead? You go to Dubai, you snap pictures, you buy one and two things and return home, and then oppress your brother and sister who can barely feed 3 square meals a day and ask, who are you? You go on social media and feign your miserable life to those who know nothing about you. You need to have your frontal lobe checked and stimulated. Change the way you think, and you will change the outcome of events around you. I would have cited Abraham Lincoln as the only person I revere as a Republican. He was a great Republican, but that is too far from us. So I will give an example that is closer home, that is closer to home. And that would be the great man, Dr. Sam Mbakwe, as his soul continues to rest in peace, was a great Republican, albeit his second term administration was interrupted by Muhammad Buhari's 1983 coup. That would be a different analysis for another day. We also jump on that mantra. We are Republican in nature. You don't even understand the intricacies. Republicans think and act on behalf of the future generation, not for their immediate financial gratification, or try to ingratiate their way and stuff into other people's life by bribing them or doing whatever. Republicans protect their own from oppressors, from hunger, and the deprivation of adequate infrastructure. That is what Republicans do. Right. They do not kill their own or cause mayhem and bloodshed in their land and against their own people.
Ke ụmụ nwoke asị na ha na-alụ ụmụ nwaanyị ndị ọcha. Ụmụ nwaanyị ndị ọcha ga-asụkwa oyibo ruo taa. Biafras can do what Biafras cannot do does not exist. All these our brother, when they say they marry Oyibo, Austria, Oyibo, Germany, Oyibo, UK, Oyibo, their wife no fit speak this kind of grammar. God forbid. Now go come carry me where be say I no even go Oxford or Cambridge University. Now come they insult me say I no sabi speak English. See better pikin we go UK school. See the kind of Oyibo where they come out from mouth. Won't take your Yoruba Austria or your Yoruba Germany, take compare me. Whenever I even come Europe, ma come dey speak English more than the owners. I dey greet una. Lolo Uchechi continue. Ọ dị egwu o. Ọ dịkwa egwu.
There are also dangers of emotional evaluation of issues, but that will be a topic for another day, where we let emotions, when your emotions push you, you act irrationally. You will make mistakes. You will not see. You cannot ask no neighbor. So, like when I lost my mother, and when I cry, I like to cry in my closet, like wail and weep. But when I cry in the crowd, I cannot see, and I need to see. So when you act out of emotion, you act foolishly. You end up looking like you're a foolish person. We have to leave our emotions and put on our thinking cap. Like I said, that will be a topic for another day. So if this can be achieved, if we can activate, stimulate our frontal lobe, come the end of 2023, we shall all have a more refined and unified perspective. Because no way, you're going nowhere. Maybe you keep cycling. You take again around, circling. Now, rubbish. The other fool I jump on for a long time. I have a quote in one of the times that I sit and tap into my consciousness, and I found that there are things known for people who just see things and know, and there are things unknown for people who can't just understand. Some people is right there looking at them in the face, and they don't even understand what they're looking at. That other part of the brain, we'll talk about it in the future, is not activated as well. That tells you what object you're looking at and sends the information. So there are things known and there are things unknown, and in between these things, it is the door of perception. That is the problem of our people. Perception. Understanding. It is very important. Like I said, our HOD has said it all. I don't want to take too much of our time. I want us to have what he said and what message you're listening to today to stick in your head. You can come back to this very broadcast and listen to it. Let it be the light onto your path and recycle the information. Keep listening to it and finding the holes where you need to feel and how you need to activate your frontal lobe, because that is the main problem here. In conclusion, we now understand the functions of the frontal lobe and the importance of its stimulation. That is the problem. If you have your frontal lobe working, it will not take you one week. When I give you the biological structure and process of a structural and functioning system, it took you 1 week to understand. You have no idea what I'm talking about. You're busy talking rubbish rather than stay within the context. Your frontal lobe is not developed, is half-baked, and you need to activate it. So you know, when you do not use an object, for example, when you go away or travel for maybe over years, and there is no one cleaning up a room or your house, or you have a particular room in your house where you barely use, over time, you would get a whiff of damp. You know, when you walk into the room, there's this damp whiff you get. Each time you try to access the room, except you clean that room.
Here. I want
and that damp smell is repulsive. And this means that when that frontal lobe is not activated, your utterances and your demeanor will be repulsive. Nobody will take you seriously. Nobody will take you seriously. You will be jumping from one post to another. Hey, 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 ha, ha, Aussie. The way some people take Aussie, and you're looking at the person bringing the message Aussie. Is it how bad your brain has developed, or is it how bad your brain
from the right
failed to
source?
develop?
All see from all these pages when no get head.
They attended school.
All see, now they hear them.
Aussie again. You cannot sit down. Your frontal lobe is so inactive. It's so you're lazy. You cannot stimulate it and use it to analyze and ask questions. Your frontal lobe is so inactive. You don't know that a man who is in captivity of a government can have access and send message through his attorney to his wife, and he can have communication with his wife, and his wife has gone to see him. Your frontal lobe is not thinking. Your frontal lobe is filled with cling film and dumped in a freezer.
Then say no.
My little son would tell you the animals that live in Antarctica, what characteristics they have,
then say
what
your
they put
husband
on
can't
to
talk,
enable them to stay warm
spiritually. Now what did they tell us for social media?
in that
They say don't
-5 degrees cold temperature.
Mm-hmm.
But you let your brain fall in there and it's sleeping. It's sleeping. You can't be helped. Wake up and use your frontal lobe, because you will have a home to go back to.
Yes.
We need our home to get where we are today. It's not our home.
It's not our home, exactly. Lolo. Thank you.
You have to protect your fatherland, your motherland. So nobody will take us seriously if we continuously behave in this repulsive manner. This is what happens when that part of the brain is not stimulated. Your reasoning capacity, when that part of the brain remains unstimulated, the reasoning capacity becomes repulsive. Subsequently, most people from the lower hemisphere, or in the specificity, I would use the word sub-Saharan Africa, they fail to respond accordingly to the information being passed across, thereby weakening that ability over time. So when you don't use that part of the brain, it becomes inactive. It weakens. You can't reason for yourself. You want someone to reason and interpret it for us. That is why we have allowed people who do not understand the ways of God. He's not even meant for you to understand. People who do not understand the inception of what Christianity is all about, and understand the calling, who God has called and who God hasn't called. Everybody falls under the voice of somebody who is confused, someone who has a mental disorder, and you say he's my pastor. He said, I am not against pastor or anything, but we need to be able to understand
everybody
the difference between what God
you don't
wants
even know
for
how
us
the person is called, but if it's called
and
by
what
devil
somebody
or by
wants.
God.
Be able to discern for yourself. You let someone read the Bible and interpret rubbish for you, and you let someone sit on social media and talk rubbish, and you can't. Your brain is tired. I don't know if it's the poverty or I don't know what the problem is. But whatever the problem is, you know what they call prayer point? We need to use this frontal lobe as for those of you, I go for can be change.
In my head now, go, oh,
you pray.
Okay, now.
What people need to understand is the logos, is the similar thing, is the similarity. ma onye si na Chineke dị, ma onye si na n'ọnwa ka ọ na-efe.
Okay.
They all have one thing in common. What is that? The Logos. And what is that? Is the word. Your tongue is your oracle. You speak. You speak in the affirmation that this is how I want this. You tap into the consciousness of your being. I look at some people and I laugh. You don't know the power you wield as a human. Tap into that realm of spirituality. We mix a lot of things up and everybody's confused. But still, let's go back to the ways of our forefathers. Have finished on. They have finished on. They turned Africans, sub-Saharans especially, to Dundee.
Ma's wife, the best today. She's not happy.
You bag PhD. You think when you speak, you know what I mean? That means you're intelligent. No. Or when someone says, yacht, no, I'll say yacht. It's not yacht, it's yacht. Therefore, you're more intelligent. Your frontal lobe needs stimulating. What we need is, you need your franca lingua. You need some basic mathematics that will help you add 1 and 2. And then you need all other things, physics, whatever, taught in your lingua franca. If you have to. And also English language, and therefore you're intelligent. You're not. You need to work on your frontal lobe.
Wow.
Okay? That's what you need. This is the main reason Africans are easily swayed in the most obvious situation. You can see the apparent truth. No, you can't, because you can't critically analyze what you're looking at. You fall for it. We need to effectively manage perceived information, ensuring that whatever is presented to us is critically analyzed and evaluated to ensure that it conforms to appropriate understanding within our knowledge base. That is why we're different from monkey. It doesn't mean that monkeys can't do the things we do. They do it. You need to see a monkey washing a plate. He washes a plate, but he washes it differently from how the human does it. When your frontal lobe is stimulated and developed, you cannot be easily fooled or swayed. The frontal lobe in the brain helps to process perceived information. It enhances your reasoning capacity. When your reasoning capacity is enhanced, the way you evaluate and analyze information is different from the way a child who is 10 years old would analyze that same information. That is to show that you have developed. So we need to attain that level of reasoning power to enable your decision making. If you make a conscious decision, or if you had made a conscious decision to have your frontal lobe stimulated, as the case may be, our land today will not be desecrated with the blood of our people. Our land will not be contaminated with the information concocted by someone whose frontal lobe is designed to create confusion and milk you once you rise against each other. But 2023, we must cleanse it.
Amen.
We wipe it clean.
Amen.
It is imperative that we do so. If your frontal lobe is developed, you would have perceived that all the teachings of our leader was to prepare you for a time such as this.
They claim that don't even listen
of your frontal lobe with unbridled emotional perception.
They don't listen to our leader. They just claim that they listen, but they never learn anything.
If your frontal lobe is activated, you will ask questions unceasingly. You will ask yourself, what have you learned all these years from the teachings of our leader, Mazin Nnamdi Kanu? I want a circulation of our leader's appearance in 2015 in CK. Aba people, that is why I love Aba people. 1929, the Aba women riot. Aba people, they are strong-willed. This nonsense, people are being kidnapped in Enugu, Soch, and the rest of them. Do you hear such nonsense in Aba? Aba will tell you that you cannot come and speak to Aba person, and the person will swallow you hook, line, and sinker. They will reason. They will analyze what you have just said to them. Please find that video of the appearance, the rally of our leader in 2015, TK Siaba. People were running from our area. People were leaving their shops and running like they were mad. They were going crazy. They wanted to go and see the man who had made a conscious decision using his frontal lobe to bring his people together. He thrived on showing his people the path to achieving the saying, and the meaning of one family. You could travel home without the fear of being kidnapped. There was no incessant killing of our people. Nnamdi Kanu's primary aim is the protection of our people. And he knows the dangers of people with undeveloped frontal lobes.
Hey,
and he kept asking you, he knows the dangers of such people, the mayhem they could cause for the people, because they do not understand the vitality of loyalty. They join the freedom fighting body with their undeveloped frontal lobe, which they brought from their local meeting groups to cause confusion. You are under the sound of my voice today. You are one of the people, you blackmailed your brother and sister just for your position. And then when you mess up in that position, which you did not get using the right path, what do? You run back to the person you initially blackmailed, and you two will gather together against the body you were once part of. Your frontal lobe needs to be activated. You need to stimulate it. If your frontal lobe is activated, you would know that the union you have formed with the person you once blackmailed is smeared and fraught with danger, enveloped with dishonesty, grudge, and disdain. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Who is your friend? He is not your friend. That is another danger with mantras. You drop enemy is my friend. When you're done dealing with that enemy, this person will deal with you, because your relationship is not based. You didn't kick it off based on a good premise. It's formed based on killing someone else or maiming someone else. Therefore, your relationship is hokey pokey. Does not exist. You two are deceiving yourself. You are deceiving each other, because one thing you have in common is to destroy that body you once belonged to. After that, what next? You have yet to ask yourself that question, because your frontal lobe is inactive. That is why you can't even ask the question.
They know the truth, but they just they hide.
Clean up your hearts in 2023. Clean up your heart. Those of you that read the Bible, it says, lift up your hearts, all ye gates, and be ye lifted up, ye everlasting doors. What is the gate? Activate your frontal lobe so you can understand and identify what these gates are. Gates. The gate the gate of confusion, the gate of backbiting, the gate of being power hungry, looking for where to fester confusion. Hitler once failed. Eventually, you can never stay on top forever. You will eventually come down.
Autopilot
But make
leaders,
sure
they love our
that as
leader
you
wife.
are fighting your way up, you have the
Uche
floor.
Echi,
You made it all smooth
autopilot
and nice.
leaders,
You
he
put
will
beds.
love you.
And she also, okay, that is what I'm trying to say. So that when you fall from there,
He
you got
got that.
and a lot of people are waiting for you. So you imagine like for messing up the ground whilst you are going up. Yeah,
Yes. So
lift up your hearts, O ye gate, and be ye lifted up. When you activate that part of your brain, you will understand what these gates are. Tap into the consciousness of your being so you can see in the dark. For myself, in the future, a lot of people will come to understand me. I see better in the dark. When it's dark, then that is when I see what you can't see. Those who are close to me know what I'm trying to say. I see what you can't see. And for you to be able to tap into that consciousness of your being, you need to acquaint yourself with darkness. Darkness is not evil things that you need to do. Darkness means a quiet path. It means a place where you sit and you see nothing but a tiny tunnel where you tap into the consciousness of your being, and then you can see better things. And we shout on the Bible, the chukwu hụrụ n'anya ka ọ na-ekpughere ihe zoro ezo. Ihe zoro ezo dịrị ndị na dịrị mmadụ, nke zoro ezo dịrị Chineke, mana nke ekpuchiri ekpuchi, nke zoro ezo ka Chineke na-ezi ndị ọ hụrụ n'anya. Yeah, ndị ọ hụrụ n'anya, but you cannot be empty and he will show you nothing. Because you're busy making too much noise and following noise all over the place. So you can't even hear him. So you need to find that part where you can tap, where you can be able to see that is God can show it to you. I look at some people and I laugh because they think I see them for who they are. You think I don't know nothing about you? I do. Once you say hello to me, I know who you are already. So tap into the consciousness of your being so you see in the dark and hear in the midst of noise. A wise man once said that in the midst of noise, you need to be able to speak wisdom. Pick it up. Capture that tiny bit of thing that can elude even the finest of minds. But you will be able to pick it. Why? Because you can tap. You can, in the midst of noise, you can hear. And in the dark, you can see. Connect with the power of discernment, and you will see the glory thereof. If we connect to being able to discern things.
Hey, man, say now the color wife.
be
We
better
go
people
school,
come the end of
we break
2023.
chalk, not be small.
We will, and I promise you that. But where we are today, we need to sanitize. Sometimes it's as if Nnamdi Kanu has spent since 2012 talking, and people just come. They don't listen. They listen to leader. Our leader. Follow you, support. We are formidable. We are indomitable. One wind. Rubbish. Someone who can barely find
Never
to his house
tell where the
telling
man
you
don't
we
they
need
talk about
Biafra
people know
2023
they
and
listen at
your
all.
frontal lobe needs to be stimulated. Stimulated. Because this is becoming it is becoming to an agenda. My mother would say, hara, okay, it seems we're all mad.
Hey.
How can you ever get anything if you don't have a line of hierarchical structure? How can? It is foolishness. Learn to differentiate when you're foolish and indisciplined. Learn to know your place. Learn to know your place. I once got a message. Somebody, if I was Nnamdi Kanu's wife, what I would be doing? Why don't you see me everywhere, looking for what you need to do? Because I know my place. Because I understand the hierarchical structure process. Because Ishi cannot have iburu mmiri n'ishi. No. Every part of the body has its functions. Learn that.
They hold the line, no. They want everything by magic.
Things, analyzing them, incorporate them into the things you're looking at.
They want
it will help
by
you
magic
to create simulations. People go to church and see that pastor will preach, and they just is when I became. Not when I became, I've always known what I am, but I wasn't completely blossomed in the fullness of my personality. But eventually, when I started to understand who I am and to understand the things that I see, I am able to analyze the things I see. By the time I'm done breaking it, 99.9% of people that come around me, it wears me out. It wears me out because I feed off people. So when you come around me, I feed off you. I know if you're true or if you're a horrible person. I know. Oh, I know. And gradually they fizzle, they disappear. Some, I don't have to say anything to them. They figure out that I already know. They don't come around me anymore. That is my strength. You will see the glory thereof once you begin to discern the wisdom. Once you begin to hear the important things in the midst of noise. Once you begin to see things in the dark, you will see the glory thereof. Nobody would sway you. And with that, be strong in the face of your enemies. When you see evil, call it evil. Speak the truth always, because truth is strength. Ezioku will set you free. Ezioku will kikeregi. Ezioku, truth is honor. Truth is light. And it remains your stronghold. That is the only thing that is constant, the truth. Ezioku will eventually come up.
Yeah.
I like the music that our brother Jonathan played, and it would be nice if he could please play that song again afterwards. He says, "Ohoro sinaya hoge oboya kipe mara, oriri sinaya erigi oboya bute ajo amawona." Ogade kolu ebube Egbasi alika uche chukwu geme Mgboge chukwu ruru akwa mkpụrụ uche kewasịa amawo na ogade kolu ebube When the time comes, nothing can stop it. The miracle that awaits us. But we must be prepared with a clean heart and stimulated frontal lobe. This is Radio Biafra, where we worship. From me here, it is Happy New Year to you once again. Good evening, and thank you for listening.
Hey, Uchechi. Uchechi, oh, isoloko yibo. Ihe ọ na-asụ wọtọ. Oyibo nke ya chai, Uchechi. O jiri oyibo merie ọha ahụ. The woman they talk, oh my God. She come with a parable. She quotes the Bible. She quotes the tradition. She give you the everything she get them. She try. She did try. This is the kind of leader's wife we want. She really try. Oh my gosh. So once again, Happy New Year to everyone from YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all over social media platform, and also is it what is it? I'm not too active on that, but I still have that account for Twitter. I have Twitter account, but I'm not really too active on it. But I remember I do have a Twitter account. Just I'm not active. People are not even too much there. So our Lolo. The woman strong, go not be small. You get power. No easy. Anybody whether you say easy na set up. Let's listen to Chike Dozie, my people. Let's listen to Chike. Let's listen to Chike.
Called the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. Fellow Biafrans, fellow comrades, you that have remained undaunted, you that have remained devoted, those of you that have remained consistent to the fundamental objectives and guiding principles of these great heaven ordained movement. Those of you that have led this great movement on Nnamdi Kanu, despite the challenges that you may have been confronted with, and those that have remained faithful to the structure he established, it is to you I bring warmest salutation and commendation for your exemplary courage and discipline, because without your courage, without your discipline, we, the indigenous people of Biafra, will not be where we are today in terms of the great and enormous progress and height attained in our march to freedom. This year 2023, I am confident and I am assured will be a year that will mark the end of the suffering of the children of Chukwuka. Today marks the 18th month and counting since Nigeria committed an international crime of extraterritorial kidnapping and extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra worldwide. June 19th, 2021 has gone down in history as a day of infamy for the Nigerian establishment and its Fulanized government. The Directorate of State of the indigenous people of Biafra has left no stone unturned in our effort to unmask those behind this international crime together with their collaborators. And I can confidently and, of course, very grandly inform that our M branch has been able to identify those that has questions to answer in this regard to the Biafran people. The intel at our disposal revealed that certain persons were actually in direct communication with those that carried out this dastardly and evil crime. They were in communication with these evil men while our leader was still being held in Kenya. You can imagine that. You can imagine that they were communicating with those who committed this evil crime, and at the same time, at the same breath, they consciously and deliberately lied to the DOS that they had no knowledge, no prior knowledge of Onyendu's predicament prior to the 27th of June 2021, when the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra was finally brought to the zoo called Nigeria. We shall, of course, make their names public in due course because they have some very, very explaining to give to the Biafran people. We are also aware that notwithstanding the shenanigans and the cropped up charges against Onyendu, a man that has brought out himself for the freedom of his people, a man that heaven has ordained with an enormous and an onerous task to ensure that the children of heaven are extricated from the quagmire that is called the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. We know that in October of last year, after all the efforts that they conspired to keep adjournments and adjournments and adjournments upon adjournment of this very case that has actually nothing in it, a case of someone who is exercising his right to self-determination, which, of course, we all know that it is an international, that it is a human right. Self-determination is a human right enshrined in charters and in documents that guard and guide international organizations such as the United Nations and the African Union. In October, the Appeal Court of Nigeria in Abuja, which, of course, their decision is expected, but they had courage and they decided and ordered that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer. He has no case to answer because he was exercising a right that is natural to every human being. And he ordered that he be released immediately. In fact, the court ordered for complete acquittal and dismissal of the trumped up charges against him. But as you all know, we are here today, the 1st January of 2023. You can count from October up to this moment, the Zoological Republic of Nigeria, of course, in its own way, known that it has no respect to the rule of law, has refused to carry out the order of its own court, has refused to release the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, has continued to deny him his right, has continued to subject him to all manner of human degradation, torture, physically, mentally, and psychologically, in the DSS dungeon in Abuja. We are saying this that the world may understand that, of course, there is a time and there is a limit to a people's patience and what they can bear. Also, in 2021, this great movement, we embarked upon a series of international campaigns for the freedom of the prisoner of conscience, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Our campaign took us to the European Parliament, where we presented our matter like never before. And we know that those who are in charge in Europe, they know that the people of Biafra deserve better. But what they are lacking at the moment is the will to do the right thing. But they must also as well be aware that there is a limit to a people's patience and what they can take. Our campaign as well took us to Corsica. The indigenous people of Biafra, we were invited for the first time to the Gujamate 2022 International Conference of Emerging Nations in Corsica, France. There we met and made friends, of course, our very dear friend and very, very, very supportive people of Catalonia. They were there. We met the people of Scotland, the Guyanas. We met people of Tahiti, the Basque region, and the rest of them. And our case was very well presented, and of course, people took it upon themselves. They took it upon themselves to engage themselves in ensuring that not only that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, received the justice that is due to him, but that the case of the Biafran people is given the international space which it deserves, and which I can assure Biafrans today that that is being done without any hesitation. I also want to let Biafrans know that 50 years and counting. Some people will say 60 years and counting. At the end of the genocide committed against the Biafran people, we have been like the seed that was buried under the earth. And we have sprouted, we have grown beyond the imaginations of our enemies. And we know as well that those who hold us down, they are holding us down because they know who you are. And it is for us to do some real soul session and understand why have our case remained intractable, in the sense that nations are not willing to give the same right to the Biafran people which they have given to nations around the world. They have mentioned genocides that actually they are not 1% in comparison to the abominable, horrific, and horrendous genocide that was committed against the Biafran people. We have searched ourselves. Where did we go wrong? What have we done wrong? And we know that we have done nothing wrong. It is not our fault that we are Biafran. It is not our fault that Chukwu Kabema has put us in the place where he called homeland for us. And therefore, having known and having seen that international relationships is guided and propelled by interests of nations. The interests of the Biafran people, as I speak to you, has found no outlet among those who are champions of human rights, those who claim to be champions of democracy, those who say that they are there to ensure that every man receives equal treatment and equal hearing. When it comes to the Biafran people, it seems always that the goalpost has always been moved to a different location. Why am I giving you this background? I am giving you this background, and I know that they are listening and they are hearing me. This 2023 will be a different year for the Biafran people. It will be a different year for us in our pursuit for freedom. It will be a different year for us in putting up alliances and making friends. Our diplomatic offensive will have no boundaries anymore. No more boundaries. We will seek out those nations. We will seek out those nations and countries with whom we will understand, or with whom we will have understanding, that we will both enter into a mutually beneficial relationship. Therefore, our diplomatic team will be up and running this very January and going forward. We will seek out nations and people that have listening ear to us, people that we can offer something and they can offer us something in return. A mutually beneficial relationship. It will no longer be a relationship where those who believe that they have the say will neglect our conditions, our needs, our desires, the desires of our people, will not even speak about the massacres that is going on a daily basis of our people. I can tell you as I speak to you today, up in the north, our youth have been taken. They are being forcibly taken away from their homes and moved to the northern region, Niger State specifically. Why are you moving people from one particular region into another region? The reason is simple. Our youth, they want to decimate the number of the Biafran youth through what we know, what we have found out from those who survived these horrors, organ harvested. They take our youth up to the north and harvest their organs, their hearts, their livers, any organ that they believe they can move to the Western world and deplete our numbers and make their useless money out of the suffering of our people. I'm sure those diplomats in the zoo, the British diplomat, the American diplomat, the European representatives, these informations are on their table. Why are they not speaking about it? Because our lives does not matter. But we want to tell them this year that our lives, of course, do matter. The lives of the Biafran people matter. And I am happy in the sense that heaven is smiling upon us this very day. It is a beautiful Sunday, the 1st of January. The sun is shining, and that is the way it will be for us as far as this struggle is concerned, because heaven will continue to smile upon us as we move ahead. 2022 was a mixture of positive and very sad moment for us. It is with a very heavy heart that I announce to the world and to the IPOB families worldwide that we lost a hardcore to the core. Mazi Oscar Okeke was our regional representative, our continental regional representative for the Asian continent.
Hey.
We lost men and women in the field. We lost also young men and young women, old and young, mothers and fathers of Biafra land, those who were massacred in Agatu in Enugu, those that Hope Uzodinma is killing in Imo State, those that Dave Umahi is massacring in Ebonyi State, and those that the new governor of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo, is also decimating in Anambra State. We lost these men. What their crime? Their crime is nothing but because they are Biafrans. Their crime was nothing only because they were seeking for freedom. Freedom that is a right to every human on this very planet. Why will our own case be different?
No.
Therefore, I urge you and I crave your indulgence. Great Biafrans, we will observe this very moment 2 minutes silence in the honor of all our fallen heroes and heroines. We will observe 2 minutes silence in the honor of all our operatives and all the genuine Biafrans who have lost their lives in 2022. 2 minutes silence, please. That there is a limit to a people's patience and what they can take. Our campaign as well took us to Corsica. The indigenous people of Biafra, we were invited for the first time to the Bujamati 2022 International Conference of Emerging Nations in Corsica, France. There we made
Agula.
And made friends, of course, our very dear friend and very, very, very supportive people of Catalonia. They were there. We met the people of Scotland, the Guyanas. We met people of Tahiti, the Basque region, and the rest of them. And our case was very well presented, and of course, people took it upon themselves. They took it upon themselves to engage themselves in ensuring that not only that the leader of the nation of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our great heroes, received the justice that is due to him, but that the case of the Biafra people is giving the international their spirit never rests until those who are complicit in their death also receive their recompense from the hand of Chukwu Abiyama and from the hands of our ancestors. May their spirit never rest until we achieve in their honor this quest for the freedom of the Biafran people in Chukwuabiama's name, I have prayed. He said, he said, he said. Great Biafran, recollect that last year we encouraged our people to invest in animal husbandry and agriculture. We saw ahead of time and we knew what was coming, and we took the bull by the horn. We specifically directed them to invest in the rearing of our native cow. And I can gladly inform the Biafran people that from the feedback we have received thus far, the information at our disposal, we have reasons to believe that that directive was very timely, very, very timely, and our people have continued to move away from the consumption of Fulani diseased and infected cows. It is true we have not gotten to the point where we want to be yet, but gradual and seeable and enormous progress have been made in this area. I can tell that as we speak, that this past season of Christmas and New Year, our people had the opportunity, even youths and children who never saw how and what Effibo looked like, what our native cow looked like. They have the opportunity to have seen it, and people have used and are using that very, very blessed animal for their occasions, ceremonies, and festivities. Our objective in this regard is to ensure that by the end of this year, in fact, in the next 24 months, our meat needs as it concerns the consumption of cow will be taken care of 70% through the production of these very native cows. The rest meat need of the Biafran people, the 30%, will be made up by the rearing of our local goats, the rams, the fowl, the chicken that is part of it, the fish farms, and of course the bushmeat that we are also blessed with in our land. Also, we know that our leader set up the Eastern Security Network when it became very obvious that those who had the responsibility to protect their people, those who love to be called elders, leaders, political intelligentsia, and all whatnot, they relinquished their responsibility when our people were falling victim and being chased in their farmlands, our farms being destroyed, our people being massacred, our women being defiled and decapitated in our land, the land being desecrated. These men who rather will hide under the wrapper of their wives, they said nothing, they did nothing. They did nothing. They watched their people being massacred and they could not raise a finger. It was not as if our leader did not bring this sorry situation to their attention. He did, as he always did. He brought it to their attention and pleaded with them to set up a mechanism that will protect our land and protect our people. They turned him on and on and on, and they did not. ESN was born out of necessity. ESN was created for a very, very important and singular objective: the protection of the Biafran territory, the protection of the Biafran land, the farmlands and forests, and of course, the protection of the Biafran people. This outfit is our defense shield, and this outfit has come to stay. The authorities of this very, very outfit, they are a disciplined crop of Biafran men and women trained on their core duty of safeguarding Biafran farmlands, forests, and bushes against invading Fulani headsmen. I wish to repeat this. These men and women, these very hardcore men and women who have in fact denied themselves all comfort, they were trained on their core duty of safeguarding Biafra land, safeguarding our farmlands, our forests, and our bushes, and our women, and our men, of course, from and against the invading Fulani headsmen. This outfit was not set up for any other activity or any other people, what people may be imagining. We know the propaganda going on in the Zulu media. These are distractions. For the avoidance of doubt, therefore, these men and women, they put their lives on the line. They put their lives on the line to make sure that the lives of Biafrans are secured, and therefore cannot, will not, now, tomorrow, or ever do anything or engage in any form of criminal activity in whatever shape or of whatever nomenclature. The battle that is going on and being, propagated against the Eastern Security Network is for one purpose. I can remember when I addressed the Biafran people at the very beginning of the challenge that we have faced ourselves. The challenge I'm talking about is the crime committed against our leader. I told the Biafran people that the enemy, that the agent provocateur that they brought in our midst, they have four objectives. Their first objective is to destroy, demonize, and destroy the leadership. We thank Chukwu Okike Abiyama for his message, because we are standing and unwavering. Second, they want to make sure that they destroy our media outlet, that Radio Biafra, that hallowed platform, that place that Onyendu has given us the truth, preached to us, that hallowed platform where he has exposed the evil of the zoo and all their collaborators in Britain and the other Western world. They wanted to shut us off. They wanted to close Radio Biafra London, and we know what happened sequentially. But also, again, I thank Chukwu Okike Abiyama because he is fighting our battle. Thirdly, they want to stir this movement of funds, because we know in a freedom fighting, yes, you will have the men, you will have the women, you will have those who volunteer and dedicate their life. But together with all this, funding is essential. It's imperative if any freedom fighting movement wants to succeed. They attacked our finances. They turn people, or they try to turn people away from contributing to this noble cause. They raise, in the name of ESN and in the name of IPOB, uncountable, or they organize, let me put this way. Of course they raised, we know. But they organize uncountable fundraising in the name of, and in order to put fatigue in our people, in their honest and truthful desire to support financially. And I can assure you as well that they have failed. They have failed because 18 months and counting, we are where we are. We have made more progress than they can even imagine. And the hardcore are not going anywhere. Finally, their target was the Eastern Security Network, which is the ongoing battle. Their target is to demonize Eastern Security Network. Their target was, and still is, to term Eastern Security Network as a criminal outfit. Their target is to spread the narrative that these very honorable men and women engage in all manner of crimes, all manner of evil against their own people. How can that be? How can it be that men who lay their lives down on the line for their people will turn against them and begin to harass them? That is not why the Eastern Security Network was set up. The Eastern Security Network, of which Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is its supreme commander, as he is also the supreme leader of this movement, cannot engage in any criminal activity in the hallowed land of Biafra. Any man or any operative that derails and goes out of the core duty of safeguarding our land and our people, the land of Biafra, of course, and the spirit of our ancestors, will not give that person a chance. He will not even live to tell the story. Great Biafra and lovers of freedom, it is from this very humble beginning of about 50,000 operatives of the Eastern Security Network, I can proudly tell you that we have now not less than 200,000 men and men who are ready and willing to defend our ancestral land and our people. We have these men, and they know why they have become part of this very elite outfit. And with this, I want to tell Biafrans today, the 1st January of 2023, that no one will enter our community anymore. Enter our community again and massacre our people, kill our people without
Guys, hold on. I think something is going on. I think it's network issues. Just hold on and share the video. Hold on, share the video. I think it's the network issues. Share the video. Something happened there. I have to jump it. I think it's network issues.
It's imperative, if any freedom fighting movement want to succeed. They attacked our finances, they turn people, or they try to turn people away from contributing to this noble cause. They raised in the name of ESN and in the name of IPOB, uncountable, or they organize, let me put this way. Of course they raised, we know. But they organize uncountable fundraising in the name of, and in order to put fatigue in our people, in their honest and truthful desire to support financially. And I can assure you as well that they have failed. They have failed because 18 months and counting, we are where we are. We have made more progress than they can even imagine. And the hardcore are not going anywhere. Finally, their target was the Eastern Security Network, which is the ongoing battle. Their target is to demonize Eastern Security Network. Their target was and still is to term Eastern Security Network as a criminal outfit. Their target is to spread the narrative that these very honorable men and women engage in all manner of crimes, all manner of evil against their own people. How can that be? How can it be that men who lay their lives down on the line for their people will turn against them and begin to harass them? That is not why the Eastern Security Network was set up. The Eastern Security Network, of which Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is its supreme commander, as he is also the supreme leader of this movement, cannot engage in any criminal activity in the hallowed land of Biafra. Any man or any operative that derails and goes out of the core duty of safeguarding our land and our people, the land of Biafra, of course, and the spirit of our ancestors, will not give that person a chance. He will not even live to tell the story. Great Biafra and lovers of freedom, it is from this very humble beginning of about 50,000 operatives of the Eastern Security Network, I can proudly tell you that we have now not less than 200,000 men and men who are ready and willing to defend our ancestral land and our people. We have these men, and they know why they have become part of this very elite outfit. And with this, I want to tell Biafrans today, the 1st January of 2023, that no one will enter our community anymore. Enter our community again and massacre our people, kill our people without
is the network disturbing? So I have to forward it again. I think network is always
a people's patience and what they can bear. Also, in 2021, this great movement, we embarked upon a series of international campaign for the freedom of the prisoner of conscience, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Our campaign took us to the European Parliament, where we presented our matter like never before. And we know that those who are in charge in Europe, they know that the people of Biafra deserve better. But what they are lacking at the moment is the will to do the right thing. But they must also as well be aware that there is a limit to a people's patience and what they can take. Our campaign as well took us to Corsica. The indigenous people of Biafra, we were invited for the first time to the Gujamate 2022 International Conference of Emerging Nations in Corsica, France. There we met and made friends, of course, our very dear friend and very, very, very supportive people of Catalonia. They were there. We met the people of Scotland, the Guyanas. We met people of Tahiti, the Basque region, and the rest of them. And our case was very well presented, and of course, people took it upon themselves. They took it upon themselves to engage themselves in ensuring that not only that the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, receive the justice that is due to him, but that the case of the Biafran people is given the international space which it deserves, and which I can assure Biafrans today that that is being done without any hesitation. I also want to let Biafrans know that 50 years and counting. Some people will say 60 years and counting. At the end of the genocide committed against the Biafran people, we have been like the seed that was buried under the earth, and we have sprouted, we have grown beyond the imaginations of our enemies. And we know as well that those who hold us down, they are holding us down because they know who you are. And it is for us to do some real soul session and understand why have our case remained intractable, in the sense that nations are not continental rails. Please pass this information. The family member must renew his or her oath to work assiduously in and there will be some processes that or procedure that must be followed in doing this. The oath must be taken without shoes and without cap on the head of any man that wishes to take this oath. No shoes for the man or woman, but no cap for the men as they take this very oath, the oath-taking ceremony. The oath must as well be administered by coordinators at all levels and on individual basis, please. Not on a chorus basis, not on a group basis. Everybody will be saying the same thing at the same time. No. Individually, each man must stand by himself. Each man must stand, each woman must stand, no shoes on your feet, for the man, no cap on your head, and you take the oath as the coordinator will lead you in doing this oath taking. In addition to the renewal, of the oath of present IPOB family members, any new prospective IPOB family, any new person wishing, desirous of being part of this very movement, part of this family, must undergo this oath-taking process before one is deemed to partake in our meetings and, of course, to be part of this noble family. Also, I know, and the leadership has deliberated upon this. We are aware that some amongst us, some of little faith, I would say, lost their bearing at a moment when we were confronted with this enormous challenge and challenges that came our way. These among us lacked the requisite discipline that is needed to face down the enemy with unwavering focus and dedication. We say we are without fear before our enemies. Freedom fighting is not a tea party. And if you cannot stand your ground, if you move, your place or your ground will be taken over by your enemy. Therefore, many lacked that requisite discipline, that requisite conviction, that unwavering dedication and focus, and they fell easily to the fraud of the agent provocateurs. They allowed themselves to be cajoled and deceived by these agent provocateurs because they took their eyes off the ball of the Biafran Restoration Project, the ball of the freedom of the Biafran people, the ball of the liberty and the restoration of our core value systems. They forget why they joined this very movement in the first place. It is because they took their eyes off the ball and went out of the line. They offended the spirit of Biafra land, and upon that they urinated upon the graves of our gallant heroes and heroines, past and present. These, and I'm talking about those who may have or who have genuinely and honestly and truthfully realized the wrong path that they took. And we know that they have learned the lesson in a bitter way.
No shorter than learn, no.
And also that the offended spirit of Biafra and our ancestors are willing to pardon those amongst them that honestly and sincerely wish to come back to the family. However, there will be a procedure to follow as well in readmitting those that were suspended for insubordination, and each case will be treated on its own very merit. The procedure will be made available through a memo from my office to the Continental Reps, and then they will pass it on to their subordinates. This year again, as we are pursuing to ensure that our people, as they have their food sufficiency in terms of meat consumption. We know as well that food security is a national security question for all nations and all people. And for us, it is not only a national security matter, it is as well an existential question for the Biafran people. And in recognition to this, we are today as well calling upon our people to embark upon agricultural revolution in our land. We have heard the northern people not once, not twice, not 3 times. Time and time and again, they will say that they are stopping fruits produced in the northern part of the zoo from coming down to our region, to our land, to Biafra land. I'm sure we are not stupid. Even when they send some of those food they produce, how sure are you that they did not poison them as they poisoned them during the war? Therefore, we cannot leave our fate in the hands of our enemies. Those we know, they hate us with passion. Those we know, they will not bat an eyelid to wipe us out of the face of the earth. I call upon all of you, young men and women, those who have concluded or rounded up their studies and you have no work at the moment. Stop going from one office to the other. Go and take a small portion of land and begin this revolution, because it will start in a very small way before it will grow into the behemoth that it will be in the coming months and years. The IPOB leadership in this regard and in this vein therefore have set up another department in the IPOB departmental structure, the Agricultural Department of the Indigenous People of Biafra. The details will not be made public here, but my appellation, my message to all of you in Biafra land today, this year we will embark upon the farming of such basic foodstuffs and crops like rice, yam, cassava, maize, corn, and vegetables. The rest will come in gradually. But when you want to start, any of you, take one of these that I mentioned now and give it your time, give it your energy. Believe that this is your project and make it to succeed, because you will then become part of the history that will be written about the Biafran agricultural revolution in the coming years. Great Biafran people, we are entering into this year with great hopes and great expectations, and one of which is what every peace-loving person, men of conscience, women of conscience, people that love liberty and freedom are expecting: the release of our leader, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. The zoo have no option. The zoo have no option. The British authorities, they abandoned their citizens. The American authorities, nobody is speaking about this crime against humanity that has been meted upon this very young man. The European Union, they are not speaking. The African Union is nowhere to be found, neither is the ECOWAS. Nobody can hear, nobody can see them. Their silence is as loud as it is unheard. But be encouraged. Be encouraged, great Biafrans, because heaven is with us. Heaven is with us, and Chukwu Abiyama is about to do great things in the land of Biafra and in the life of his children, the Biafran people. I have 3 announcements to make, and it's as follows. The following new responsibilities are hereby confirmed. Mazi Emmanuel Onye-Ukwu. Mazi Emmanuel Onye-Ukwu is hereby appointed the new IPOB National Coordinator for Zoo Nigeria, and he replaces Mazi Subai Goodluck Jonathan. Mrs. Joyce Nneka Chikwem. Mrs. Chikwem is the new national coordinator for IPOB family in the United Arab Emirates. Mazi Kennedy Uchenna Nwa Ede will deputize for Mrs. Joyce Nneka Chikwem for the IPOB family in UAE. The Deputy National Coordinator for IPOB Suriname, Mazi Chukwu Wenitem Ezi Echina. Mazi Chukwu Wenitem Ezi Echina, the Deputy National Coordinator for IPOB in Suriname, should, as a matter of urgency, contact the IPOB South American Continental Representative and act accordingly as he will be instructed by the Continental Rep. Let me hasten to add that he, Mazi Eziechina, has a 7-day timeline to do this, to make this contact and to carry out instruction that will be passed down onto him, after which the leadership will take very necessary actions. This year will also be a year that will come with very strict adherence to IPOB guiding rules and principles. Very strict adherence to IPOB guiding principles and rules. Our fundamental objectives must be pursued unwaveringly and without further distraction. Therefore, IPOB coordinators at all levels are administrative officers of IPOB. IPOB coordinators at all levels around the world. You are the administrative officer. You are, in fact, the one in charge of the family that you coordinate, be it a unit, a zone, a state, a nation, or a continent. And this is in consonance with our chain of command, from which begins from the unit level to the continental levels of all the continents we have in the world. These coordinators and representatives, they are therefore forthwith precluded from having any meeting with the officers of the finance department without the express and prior approval of the continental rep under whose area of authority a particular country falls into. What am I saying? What I'm saying is that if you're a coordinator, you coordinate our family. If you have in your executive a finance officer who is an executive of within your executive, a person, this is the person that the people in the finance department will be dealing with, in the sense that the finance department cannot call you to a meeting or order you to come to a meeting for any reason from today without the express approval and the authorization of the continental rep of the country that may be of particular interest to the finance department. And this order must be followed without any disregard, because there will be very dire consequences that we follow if there is any disregard to this very order today. Things must be done as they should be done, and no one will be allowed to bastardize this very structure that Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has put in place. All the names and new responsibilities take immediate effect, and every family member in the areas mentioned, please accord due respect to all these officers, do support so that they can effectively and efficiently carry out their responsibilities. I want to state again that these appointments that were announced on the 9th of September 2022 has not been revoked and therefore still stands. I'm going to repeat this appointment that was made on the 9th of September 2022, and they are as follows. Mazi Mike Ezebiro was appointed the IPOB Anambra North Senatorial Coordinator. Mike Ezebiro was appointed by this leadership as the IPOB Anambra North Senatorial Coordinator, and that stands. Mazi Mike Nweze was appointed the local government coordinator for IPOB Nnewi North. These appointments stands. Mazi Izuchukwu Chukwuneta was appointed IPOB Obaru local government area zonal coordinator by this leadership. These appointments stands. And Mazi Noel Okongo, the former secretary of Omoba, IPOB Omoba Owanyang Zone, was appointed as well the zonal coordinator for this very unit in Biafra land, and this appointment stands. Please, Biafra land national coordinator, Anambra State coordinator, take note. Take note, please. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of discipline at all levels of our structure. Every principal servant of this movement, every principal officer of the indigenous people of Biafra must report to her immediate superior. Our command and control principle is an indispensable, an integral tool in our operations and for our successes so far, for that matter. Therefore, nobody should toil or play with this very principle. There is no middle way as we move ahead. There will be no middle way. Either you are in or you are out. Wonderful Biafrans, friends, and lovers of freedom, may Chukwu Okike Abiama take the place of honor in our journey to freedom. May he guide our feet in only one direction, the road to a free, sovereign, and independent Biafran nation. May he strengthen all true and honest IPOB family members worldwide. And above all, may Chukwuabiam, the creator, the maker of the seen and the unseen, and may our ancestors guard, protect, direct, and lead Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, our supreme leader, the leader of the Biafran people. Thank you for listening on this very day, the first day, January 2023. Long shall Mazi Nnamdi Kanu live. Long shall you, IPOB hardcore family members, ESN operatives, long shall you live, and long live Biafra and the rising sun.